the end of the day, our goal remained the same, and that was to charter a path towards sustained team success. And that's not going to change. I would say last year, we spent a lot of time assessing, coming in, trying to figure out where we're at, try to find ways where we can level up, and again, figuring things out on the fly. But having the off season that we had this time around, we were able to add more processes, add more staff, continue to kind of dissect what we want everything to look like moving forward, and find people that we think will add to the future fabric of the Wizards. And I think we did that this off season. For me, it's always, I think, a good time at the beginning of the year to really take stock of where you're at. Look at your core principles, freshen up on those objectives, make sure everybody's on the same page. And if we're really to think about it, the phases of the rebuild, there's the deconstruction phase, there's the laying the foundation phase, there's the building it back up, and then there's fortifying what you build. We're still focused on deconstructing and laying that foundation. And I think that's important to remind everyone that we're still early in the phase that we're going through. While we'll continue to chip away and continue to add, I do think this summer we made a lot of cultural deposits into the environment. And that started with the hiring of Coach Brian Keefe. He, as a person and a coach, is someone who's aligned with not only like where we want to go, but how we want to get there. And you'll hear it from him, but you'll hear it from us as well. Like, we're not skipping steps. We're going right through it. We're going to do it the hard way through hard work, a holistic player development approach, and just finding those small wins and searching for that innovation every single day. So he did a really good job this offseason of meticulously taking his time to build out his coaching staff. You guys will get more familiar with them as the season goes along, but most of them have extensive player development backgrounds. They come from Brooklyn, from Detroit, from teams that have been through rebuilds and young players. I would say they're also very collaborative with the front office, but also very collaborative with each other and across the different pillars that you'll be spending time with as we talk about our holistic player development approach. And they're really good at building relationships, especially with our young players. So for us, that stuff's important. It's important in the phase we're in now, but it's also important to sustain the phase that we're going to. So that was kind of the beginning of it for the summer, for the off season for us. If you guys probably go chronologically, then it was the draft. As you know, we were aggressive in the draft, and we will always look to be opportunistic on that. We were fortunate to add 3 players by getting back in the lottery, moving up late in the later round of the first round, moving up to grab 3 guys who we're really happy to have, who all fit kind of the way we want to play, and we'll lean on that not just now, but moving forward. On draft night as well, we added a player in Malcolm Brogdon, who has already benefited, we've already benefited from having in the building. He and his wife are very familiar with the area, have already done community service and been out in the neighborhoods. But also he's been a person that the guys can lean on during the off season, during that jump season. He's been a leader, just talking to them, taking guys out, but also the stuff that he brings on the court. And I think you guys will see that as the season gets going. I guess if I jump to the next part, draft, then that's free agency. Free agency, we were lucky to sign 4 guys, but add 2 new guys in Jonas and in Sadiq, who wanted to be here. They chose to be here, and I think that's important because they sat down with us, they asked us questions about what we're doing, how we plan on getting there, and those guys wanted to contribute to that, and they wanted to be here, and they're on board with helping us get through that next phase of the organization. So I think that was important. But most of the gains that we made this year, or this summer, this jump season, this off season, were made by the work that these guys really put in. We told you when I sat down here in April, there's 170 days, I think it was, until training camp started. We're now down to a few more as it tips off on Tuesday, but our team really attacked it. I would say our younger players, we had over a handful of players back here in May. Before the second round of the playoffs had even started for every team, we had a handful of guys already back in here. And they were getting after it, working, and they've been here all the way up until now. So that's big, that's huge for us, just establishing that culture of work that we talked about. Bilal was here in May, and fortunately for him, got a chance to leave in June, go play in the Olympics in Paris in his hometown and win a silver medal. We were extremely happy for him. Make sure that we spent some time with him over there. Coach Keefe went over there, Our performance people went over there. My wife and I went over there. We probably spent more time with his family than we really did with him, eating pretty well while we were over there. But it was a really good experience for him. I'm sure when you guys get the chance to talk to him, he can talk about all the positives he took away from that. But as soon as it was over, he packed his stuff up and came right back. He was right back in August. So again, it was a huge summer by our young players, but if we go back to June, Kyle hosted the team down in Miami. Had a bunch of guys come down there, work out with him. In July, you guys are probably aware, we had a very good showing of support in Las Vegas. A lot of our teammates showed up, met the guys, and spent time with them. And then in August, Jordan hosted everyone out in California. So each month, these guys were very intentional in bonding and coming together and growing as a group. And we think we're gonna reap the benefits of that. And if I'm being honest, we've had the majority of the group here, what would you say, Jim, like post Labor Day, the Gen Impact, been full? So again, they've been attacking September, trying to make sure that we're there when October 1st hits. So I asked a lot of the guys to get into the gym and get after it and really bond, and we hope that cohesiveness and that time together will show, because I think everybody to a man sat up here, Brian Keefe, myself, and talked about the positive player development and guys hitting their individual goals during the season. The players talked about that, which is great, but we didn't achieve as many team goals as we wanted. So for us, we thought that started with getting to know each other, spending real time with each other, so you trust each other a little bit more on the basketball court, and we can see a little bit more of that team goal success for this season. So that's kind of the jump season. I thought those 170 days were pretty productive. We had to make a lot of decisions, but I'm very happy for where we landed on most of that stuff. It's time to kind of move ahead. If I could wrap up last season, it would be, we really were trying to level up, try to get everything off the ground, try to figure out what works here. And we're still working on that. We will never stop trying to improve upon things like that. But we did a pretty good job. And now, while we're also trying to level up, we got to make sure we're showing up. And I think that's really important. And what I mean by showing up is being there every single day, being a pro every single day, wearing the Wizards jersey, wearing the logo with some pride. And it's not just showing up to practice, but getting your rest the night before so that you're ready for practice. It's not just being at shoot around, it's coming with an intentionality to pay attention so that you know the game plan so you can execute at night. But it's not just the basketball stuff, it's showing up in the community. It's showing up when you have your media obligations, being present in the moment, showing up for fan engagement. Like, that stuff matters here and it always will. The approach when we get off the bus, the approach when we walk into different arenas. Like, we want people to feel the Wizards, and showing up is how that happens. So for us, you'll probably hear it a few times. We've leveled up, now we're gonna show up, but we have a really good opportunity with a few different international players, and also taking a trip to Canada, taking a trip to Mexico, to not just show up domestically, but internationally, and that's important to us. And I think we'll try to maximize those trips and make sure we're bonding, but also growing and learning the different cultures in those cities that we're in. So I know I'm personally looking forward to that. Our players probably will as well. So that's kind of where we're at and where we're going. I'm gonna answer this question now because I know you guys always ask it. I'm learning. In terms of expectations for the year, I'm gonna hit that one now. You guys can tell our fans that I'm excited. I'm excited, one, to see all that Brian Keefe has done. Last year, he was kind of put in a situation where here's the team in the middle of it, kind of make things work for the rest of the season, get through it. He's had a whole off season to think through stylistically how he wants to play. He has a better feel for our core group of players, and he's hired a staff that's going to challenge him to think and are already challenging him to think. So I'm excited stylistically. I would say our fans can anticipate us using that versatility that we've added. We want to play multiple positions. I think you've seen we've added bigger, longer guys. We are going to be a better defensive team. We are going to have more of a defensive disposition. Are we going to make massive strides? Probably not right away, but the intent, the effort, that will be better. The size that we put on the floor will hopefully impact our defensive disposition. We will continue to play with pace. We're going to get up and down. I think we were first last year. We want to get up and down and use the speed and the youth that we have. And in terms of offensively, I would say you can expect to see more ball movement. You can definitely expect to see more player movement and more cutting. Just offensively, we want things going. You won't see the primary ball handler as much as you probably saw last year, We drafted and added multiple decision makers, and I think that's important to get the ball up and go and play fast, make teams react to you. That's kind of the goal that we want. But at the end of the day, we're still cycling through, I think, what I call the cycle of discovery. Innovation, trying different lineups. You'll see us try and experiment with different pairings. You'll see 2 bigs on the floor, 3 bigs on the floor, 5 wings, no point guards. Like it's going to be stuff where we're trying day to day. You might see a different lineup one day, a different lineup after halftime. But Brian has full autonomy to just kind of do what works. We're not blindly just throwing stuff at the wall. I don't want people to think that's what it is, but like we're strategically trying to figure out something that can work now, but also sustain to the future. Winning, I know everyone talks about wins and losses and things. Like if you're not winning the right way and playing the right way where it's sustainable, it's not going to last. So we want to play the right way and win the right way, and that starts by trying different things out. So for us, you can expect that, is what I would tell the fans. We're going to be a young team. We're going to be a young team for a good amount of time moving forward. We're still going to be a top 10 youngest team again this year. If you actually look at our rotation, it'd probably be even younger than that of the guys who are going to play the majority of the minutes. I think the stat is, Matt gave it to me the other day, we're second in terms of players under 25 years old. So I think that'll continue to grow and get younger. And as you know, that stuff takes time. Development isn't linear. Our guys are going to continue to get better. So I guess lastly, I would close by telling the fans, celebrate those growing pains. Because through that growing pains, you're going to see the growth and the opportunity that's ahead. I would tell our fans to really focus on the trajectories of our players. You will see growth moments. You will see glimpses of what's going to come in the future, not just from our players, but from our team. Eventually, that will become more consistent. I promise. It will become more consistent. But when you see those glimpses, take stock in that, own that, and know that more of that is going to come. We will give our players the runway to take off. When that happens, a lot of that is on them. We feel confident in our coaching staff, our player development programs, our medical group that we're going to help them maximize themselves, but they got to put the time in. And just being around this group this summer, I think they will. But we're not going to rush the ascent. We're going to let our guys take as much time on the runway as they need and take off, knowing that the flight pattern will be a little bit more like this than straight up. But again, we're going to give guys the runway to do that. And you'll get tired of me saying this, but we're going to do that by not skipping steps. That's not going to change. We're not going to get rushed. We'll continue to track small incremental wins. We'll celebrate those small wins. Our fans should celebrate them with us. And we'll check in player development every 10 games. Where are we at? Where are our measurables? Are we hitting them? Why are we not hitting them? Are we close to them? Did we surpass them? Do you need new ones? We're just going to continue to ask questions. As a team, have the huge milestone checkpoints every 25 games and just really check in. But again, at the end of the day, if I were to sum it up, success will not solely come from the outcomes from us this year, but it's going to be the player growth. It's going to be player development. It's going to be finding innovation, and 2 staples of everything are going to be those cultural deposits that we're making and the community engagement. And to me, and to Michael, and to Brian, that starts by showing up every single day. And that's the mentality that we have to have. So I'm excited. Season officially starts on Tuesday. Again, we have a great opportunity to head up to Montreal, be in Canada for multiple days and take training camp up there. We play the Raptors while we're there. We're going to go up a day early, stay a day after, just to make sure we're bonding and connecting and taking in the city. So I think that'll be a good experience for our young players. A few of them speak French, so they might be a little bit more comfortable up there. But the guys are excited. I know our coaching staff is excited. Us as a front office, we understand that we have a few decisions we have to make. We're going to watch training camp. We're going to watch the preseason games and take the full allotted amount of time and make those decisions. But again, I think we're in a good spot right now in terms of excitement from the team and a connectedness of the team that we probably didn't have last year. So for us, it's now time to show up and let the ball do what it may on Tuesday. And with that, I'll steal Ketzia's job and open it up for questions.